Hey guys, Uncommon Ramen here. Today, I want to take a look at an odd game that I wouldn't normally pick up if it wasn't really for the theme of the game, which is more of a RPG like game than it is a board game, but you'll kind of get the nuances as we go through it. I am taking a look at a game that I just recently found called Rest in Pieces. I haven't even found any information on this on the Board Game Geek website, which indicates to me this is relatively new. I don't know if it's a Kickstarter or whatever. I just happened to find it in one of my game shops, and I thought that it looked really interesting. One of the things that really attracted me to the game was that it utilizes a mechanic with a Jenga tower, similar to that of Dread. But Dread had too much of a, I don't know, I guess realistic theme to it that turned me off to it. This has more of a dark comedy, cartoon comic humor to it. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so we have the rule book right here. We're going to take a look inside of this. Rest in Pieces. So it's going to create scenarios, and I don't remember exactly how many I said. They said that they had. I think there's 14, and someone is going to narrate those scenarios, and you're going to use the Jenga tower to pass different tests, if you will. And as the Jenga tower gets more and more unstable, it becomes harder and harder to pass these tests. So it's just a really interesting mechanic to kind of simulate fatigue and mental stress. All right, so we're going to take a look inside here. So it was compared to when I was picking it up to similar games like Dread and also Fiasco. Fiasco was a game that was showcased on, well, actually both Dread and Fiasco were showcased on Tabletop with Will Wheaton. And both of them are role-playing type games where you can get them done in a single session, as opposed to most role-playing games that require several sessions and can take sometimes up to years to complete. This particular one, just like Dread and Fiasco, is something that you should be able to finish within one sitting. In Fiasco, there is dice used in it to kind of play the place of a bad ending / good ending, depending on the dice that you're given during an encounter. It indicates whether the players felt like what happened went your way or did not go your way. So it has a mechanic that allows you to kind of determine at the very end of the game exactly how that character managed to, or I guess what happened after the aftermath of everything. In Dread, they use a Jenga tower just like in this game, where as you go later and later into the scenario, it becomes harder and harder to complete certain goals and everything. And as I mentioned, it's very reminiscent of a system to emulate mental stress and fatigue and whatnot. In this game, however, because it's going for more of a dark comedy type situation, you guys play roommates sharing a studio apartment with the Grim Reaper himself, and chaos ensues. I think I gravitated towards this one because of the dark comedy. And as far as RPGs are concerned, I am the type of person who would enjoy RPGs that finish that you can finish in one session. I can't get myself to get into a game of D&D because I really can't find myself committing that kind of time to it. So this rule book is just going to go over the rules and then some scenarios and some things that you should know as the narrator, so on and so forth. And we got our credits. Right, so we're going to jump into what we have inside of here. First off, starting, we have our player boards. These are dry erase on the front side, and they are a matte finish on the back side. There should be 4 character dry erase boards. No, I guess there's 5. And then we have the narrator's notes. And this is just so, you know, the narrator can keep track of things, or if they forget certain things that happened. Also comes with the dry erase markers, so that you can keep track of all that stuff. Next up, we're going to take a look at the cards. So we got Death. And I don't know if Death is... I'm pretty sure the Grim Reaper himself is somebody you can't play, which is why he has the cards off to the side. Next up, we have the player aids. So this is going to teach you how to create your character, in this case a deadbeat of some sort. And then on the back, it just talks about your player reference. And there's, my assumption is 5 of these. Then we have some achievements, it looks like. And it gives you some examples here if you're lacking in imagination, which can happen. All right, next, let me see. I'm going to separate out the cards here. We got some stuff for what is called the middle finger deck. We got some pet peeves here. We have some pipe dreams here. Not even sure what these are because they don't have a backing to them. We'll take a look at those next. We have some deadly objects, some odd hobbies, and some dead-end jobs. This is very interesting. First thing I pulled aside here appears to be scenarios. So we got ourselves some home shopping addiction, cult following, underworld friends, raising the dead, magic tricks, killing spree, Death the Pirate, Lost Love. Are these... Okay, so these are probably the scenarios that we're going to use to start each game, because there's probably 14 of these, and I'll go into that in just a second. Scything Stuff. Indecent Exposure. Ignores Us. Piling Up. Killers Anonymous. And finally, Bowling Sucks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So yeah, there's 14 of these. These are the scenarios. And they're just telling you kind of a little bit about the backstory as to why we're in the midst of playing this game, if you will, or exactly what we're role-playing. Boom. Okay, next up we're going to take a look at pet peeves. These are things that you're going to have at least one of these, I believe, with your character. Things that PO your character. Fizzled flame. Storyteller. Liar, liar. Jinx. Clingy. Rules lawyer. Coward. Temper temper. Mooch. Hello. Sorry. Daydreamer. Here I am daydreaming. Late. Loud. Captain Obvious. Hornball. Phone face. Do they have to? Unkempt. Drama queen. Demolition man. Instigator. Okay, that's it on the pet peeves. Next up, we're going to take a look at pipe dreams. Got fame as a pipe dream. Yeah, that makes sense. Fortune. Love. Respect. Perfection. The dude abides. BFF. Okay. Next up, we'll look at the dead-end jobs. We got ourselves a sandwich artist, bicycle delivery, landscaper, gas station clerk, strip club janitor, parking lot security, sign spinner, blogger, plasma donor, childcare worker, armpit sniffer. Okay, that's unique. Piano mover. Sporting goods sales associate. Morgue intern. Talk about dead-end jobs. All right, next up, we're going to look at odd hobbies. Drinking games. I don't find that to be that odd. Playing with fire. Definitely an odd hobby. Friendship coaching. Pranks. Butchery. Yeah, that's a strange one. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Alchemy. Forensics. Cosplay. Also, don't find that to be an odd hobby, but it is what it is. Dares. Twisted artwork. Urban farming. Reverse psychology. Competitive eating. Okay, next up we're going to look at deadly objects. Got ourselves nails. Yeah, that's definitely deadly. A bass guitar. A megaphone. A knife collection. Poison vials. Pet spiders. Skateboard. Lockpicks. Firecrackers. Chainsaw. Nachos. A skull. Dirty diapers. And lastly, we got some duct tape. which is as deadly as it is helpful, I'm sure, in some way. All right, next up is the middle finger deck. So this deck, I'm not 100% sure how this works out. The previous decks that we were looking at were cards that you would add to your character to kind of denote what kind of deadbeat they are, as well as some scenario cards to help get you started on the whole reason you're in this particular debacle. The middle finger deck, I'm not sure how this comes about or what's in here, but let's take a look. Okay, we got wait. What did you do? I wasn't paying attention. Got it. Look who's talking. They got payments down here too. Yeah, I meant to tell you. I borrowed that. We've got 2 of those. That's not how I remember it. I'm pretty sure that was you. Dude, you overhyped it. That wasn't you, that was me. Do my bidding. Score. Don't be a baby. Anybody can do that. That could have gone better. Dude, it's your mom again. That's the last of those. So those are the cards that are in there. These are mostly just used to make your character, because obviously you're going to be spending most of the time just role-playing out the scenarios that are happening. But, of course, inside of here, we also have the Jenga blocks. So we're going to go ahead and pop these guys out. I think there is a tower in here that should make it somewhat easier, but who cares about easy? Oh, there is a tower. Can I pull that out? Why is it so hard to pull out? Haha! There's a tower. Very cool. So they have a tower, just a typical Jenga tower, as you can imagine. And these are the blocks. They're very typical Jenga blocks as well. I believe they're supposed to represent the spectrum of, you know, the whole angel on your shoulder, devil on your shoulder thing. So like the black is the devil telling you to kind of do things that you probably shouldn't do, and the angel is the white blocks telling you to do things that you probably are more morally aligned to the good side of things. And as you play, you're going to be pulling these out and probably creating chaos. Like I said, it's supposed to be a dark comedic humor type game, so this isn't meant to be something where let's just say it's meant to be chaotic. We'll just put it that way. So this is the stuff that you're going to get with it. And I say that it really heavily takes inspiration from games like Dread, because Dread was about pulling these blocks out. And as you pulled the blocks from the tower out, the tower became less and less stable. So as you went through the story, it became harder and harder to do things. And as I don't remember if this is how it works in Dread, but I know in this game, if the tower falls, that is the end of the scenario. So that's when pretty much everything ends, and you have to figure out who wins from that point on. But it looks like a really interesting game. It looks like it took art inspiration from Invader Zim. It just has that feel to it. And it looked like a very interesting game. Like I said, I couldn't find any information on this from Board Game Geek yet. So I don't know if this is just a brand spanking new game, or if you know, maybe it was a Kickstarter and I just happened to find a retail store that backed the retail level. I don't know. But what I do know is that it looks really interesting. It says that it plays within an hour. that obviously has to be taken with a grain of salt, but the idea of it not taking too long seems like something that would be up the alley of somebody who wants to role play but doesn't want to role play heavily, like for instance things like D&D or other RPG campaigns that require books and character sheets and so on and so forth. This is just simple. We sit down, we play this for an hour, and by the time an hour rolls around, the tower is destabilized and falls. So it's just a really interesting game. That is it. If you liked the video, please go ahead and like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, but I must impress upon you that they have to be positive comments or I will simply be deleting them. And if you feel the need to support me, hit me up on my Patreon at patreon.com/uncommonramen, capital U, capital R. I do all of this in my spare time, so any amount of support will help me bring more of this content to you more often. And until next time, guys, peace.